company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know. Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Secrets of Success. I'm your host, Bill Horan, and today we're speaking with Ted Larkins, author of Get to Be Happy. Ted, I think it's around page 81 in your book. You have a quote and you say, life unfolds in front of every moment, and we never know which of those moments will be life-changing. So I work at smiling at all of them. Now, you have a life-changing moment you shared with us in the book. I think it involved a friend named Pat who gave you some advice.
Yes. Yeah. I was during my bartending days there at the MGM Grand, I got in pretty heavy into partying and, with the other bartenders and waitresses and after work and, doing drugs. And my best friend, Pat, from Columbus, Ohio, we grew up together. He had come out to live and to stay in Reno for a year or so. And one of our first times out, we were maybe a month into it. We were sitting having a beer. And he looked at me and said, Ted, if I met you right now, I wouldn't be your friend. And I tell you, it just shook me. And he said it with such conviction. And in that moment, I said, what? He said, you're partying, you're doing all this stuff, but where's the guy that wants to live on the edge, the one that really wants to experience life? Where is that guy? You're gone. You're literally going to be dead. And Bill, it woke me up. And I said, I'm going to change in my mind. In fact, there's a book called Whack on the Side of the Head. It was back in the 80s. And I just feel like I had a whack on the side of my head. 2 days later, I applied for my Reno or my Nevada real estate license and just changed. It just turned my life around. And I said, I'm not going to go down that path anymore. It was life-changing. And
as you said, we never know whether that person we're talking to may be our best friend, a future spouse of ours, a future employer. So many aspects of life that we just don't even envision. We might be cutting someone off on the road, and that might be the person who's going to interview us for the job in 10 minutes, and we just cut them off and maybe gave them some gestures that weren't too nice. But just to appreciate it more and just to say, get to be happy and enjoy that and smile at all of them, as you said. This is part of our life.
Listen, what's interesting is this, we think, as humans, the way our minds work, we think we're here, like this reality, or this is here and we're in it, But the truth is, it's all unfolding every moment. And all of us are experiencing this. So whoever you run into, wherever you are, everyone in this moment is coming to life in front of us. And I think it's important to really embrace every moment as best we can and say, I get to really experience this with this person and show compassion, show love, show appreciation. There's a great story that you just reminded me of this, Bill, and I haven't thought about this for a long time. But Reader's Digest, back in the 70s, I remember reading a story as a kid, and the basic is the guy's traveling down a snowy road on his way to an interview, and he sees someone he pulled over at the side of the road with a flat tire, and he's going to be late, but he pulls over, and he helps them, fixes the flat tire, and he knows now he's going to be late, and he probably won't get the job, and he fixes it, he goes on, and he's sitting in the waiting room, they make him wait for a while, and then they say, come on in, and he walks in, and that person is sitting behind the desk.
Wow.
Wow. And even now, it just brings me to tears just thinking, help others, and it can be really powerful in your life.
And it makes life a lot easier, aside from everything else, rather than grimacing and gritting our teeth and being angry and stressing out. As we often talk about, why should we have to talk about it if we followed your advice? And I know from reading your book, you were very accepting anytime an opportunity came up. Why not? I forgot the expression you used in the book, but why not go to Japan? Hell yeah. Why not? Hell yeah, I want to go to Japan. I want to speak Japanese. I want to teach Japanese in school. Just all of the opportunities you had. Now, Ted, you mentioned in a little advice you give us, you say, think of something you want to do and commit to it for 30 days. That shouldn't be too hard, whether it's a diet or learning to play tennis or dance or something. Has that worked? Have you found that helpful?
I do it all the time. In fact, right now, I started June 1st, I started a complete bread and chip-free month, just for the heck of it. Because I've been eating a bunch of chips here and there and not feeling really good. And I thought, well, here's a chance to do it. June 1st came around, and I'm happy to say on June 20th, I have not had one chip or piece of bread all month. It's been all vegetables and just healthy stuff. I feel great. I've got another 10 days, and heck, I may go after it.
And most of us, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say for 30 days, we went through 8 years of grammar school, 4 years of high school. If we went to college, 4 years of that. If you went afterward, you probably went at night for 2 or 3 years, or maybe medical school. Hey, can we do something for 30 days and try it? And by the end of that, it's going to be a life experience, whether we talk about it and say, no, I can't wait to get back to bread or chips, or I'm going to never drink that soda again, or whatever it is. It will be a life changer.
Yes, exactly.
Now, Ted, you've never been impressed with status, too, also throughout your life. You very openly talk about your life and the days as a bartender, and maybe when you were doing things that you're not so overly proud of. You kind of equate the same way as when you talk to Jack Nicklaus, Bon Jovi, James Dean, people who were setting up his promotional business. Is that one of the keys? Because I would think a lot of people would associate success and happiness with money, but you never do. You just literally enjoyed the moment. Is that the key?
Yes. I think the key is realizing, for me, the key is realizing that we all, as humans, each one of us, are just doing the best we can on this planet as much as we can to be happy. The Dalai Lama says, After much consideration, I believe the purpose of life is to find happiness. And I think we're all on that. Look, I met Mother Teresa. I was in her orphanages in India, and was in the slums of India, and just met some horrible conditions. But the people were just people, just trying to be happy. At the same time, I had dinner with a billionaire in Japan, a private dinner, and he too was just trying to be happy, and he was no happier than the folks in the slums of India. And I sat and had many dinners at the Zen temples in Hiroshima with Zen monks who have nothing to their name, and they too were just looking to be happy. And I think, Bill, that every time you see anybody, the more that you can just find compassion and recognize that they are just like me, just doing the best they can, I think we would all find more compassion and more overall happiness in our lives.
And sometimes those simple things, they don't cost anything. It's relatively small time, 10 or 15 seconds sometimes. What a difference making the happiness, and also maybe a life-changing event for us. Ted, I'd like to mention to our audience, in case they missed it in the first part, your book is Get to Be Happy. It's by our guest, Ted Larkins, Larkins. Ted, would you give us that website again?
Sure. It's tedlarkins.com. And there's several tabs on there. You can get the book on there. I also offer some coaching. I offer a free 45-minute call for anybody that's out there that really just wants to explore this a little further. I love to talk about this stuff, Bill. I love to share happiness, and so if anybody's feeling whatever you're feeling, go on there. You can schedule a free 45-minute call, no obligation at all. I just love to chat and share with people. This Get To principle. It's a movement that I think was really shifting people into a different way of being.
I think it's a great offer for people, and if they would like to speak to you, there's not too many guests would ever make an offer that good, and I know you're not pushing a product or anything else. You just enjoy talking about this, and if you can get somebody on that happiness track, and many of our guests have said to us, you're not successful and then become happy. You must be happy first, and that leads you to success. So this is step one. If you're interested in following Ted's advice, get the book, Get to Be Happy. Maybe give him a call at the website, and we'll give you that once again before the end of the show. Ted, do most of us go in the wrong direction for happiness? Are we looking for material things rather than what's really meaningful?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems we have is what I call this attainitis. We're always trying to attain things, right? And we think that once we get the next thing, we'll be happy, or we'll get the next thing, we'll be happy. And actually, what I think happens is that the stress that we're under trying to save money or whatever to get the next thing, and as soon as we get it, well, what we really feel is relief that we finally got it. And we equate that with happiness, and it's really not. So then we're on this wheel, and it says, well, I've got to get the next thing. And it's not that things are bad or having money is bad, not at all. I mean, we can all enjoy things and that. It's when we lose sight of the fact that that's not what is bringing us happiness. What brings us happiness, where we find joy, is really in being present in the moment with compassion and appreciation. It's very simple, but it's very powerful. And as long as you have that and keep that in mind, then all of a sudden attaining things loses some of its allure, I think. And that's what we need to really look for.
I love what you said, because how many people, and I'm thinking growing up, someone would say to me, boy, I can't wait till I graduate from college, then everything is good. And then after they graduated from college, can't wait till I get that job. And, now as soon as I wrap up my master's, I'll have free time and then I can do it. Now this is taking up some of my time. And as soon as I get this, I'm not sure if I should stay where I am or go for a transfer. We've all had that, and we keep moving on to the next one. And I noted that in my notes here. Relief is not happiness. So we'll definitely remember that. That's another T-shirt I think you're ready for. So
you're on it. That's on my next T-shirt. Love it.
I'd like you to talk about one quote that you have in the book. Nothing is as important as you think it is while you're thinking about it. Can you explain what that means?
What I have found is that, as I'm going through life, in any given moment, if I have a worry or there's some anxious thoughts or things that come up, it just feels so important in that moment. And the truth is, as soon as you get out of it, we've all experienced this, an hour later or a day later, we think, why was I so upset about that? Why was I so caught on that thought? And it really is, it's really not that, nothing is that important, but we just feel it is in the moment. Now, that's not to take away from anybody's, real suffering or real challenges if you're going through that. I never want to make light of any of that. But for a lot of the things, we just kind of get stuck on things, and our minds are just stuck there, and it seems so big at the time. And later on reflection, we know it's not. So knowing that, if you can just look at life as you're going forward from now on and say, oh, wait a second, that's just a thought, and I know it's not going to be as important just a little while from now. It helps relieve that a little bit.
It makes us all feel better knowing that nothing is as important as you think it is while you're thinking about it. So if you have that problem now, in 2 days it'll be gone, you'll have a new problem. Ted, We want to thank you so much. We want to remind our audience the book is Get to Be Happy by our guest Ted Larkins. The website, quick, Ted?
Is TedLarkins.com.
Easy enough to remember. And Ted will even talk to you there a little bit and get you on that happiness track. Thanks so much for being with us today, Ted. We'd like to remind our audience that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, asking you to please join us again next week at the same time when we will continue our journey to success.